Hi, thanks for joining our informational webinar on forbearances, mortgage forbearances, and mortgage foreclosures. We're glad that you could join us. Tonight, my name again is Susan Kotner. I'm with the Affordable Housing Partnership. We're joined by Shruti Joshi from Legal Aid Society of Northeastern New York and Christina Marable of the TRIP NeighborWorks Homeownership Center. And together we are part of the HomeSave Coalition, which is a great long-standing Capital Region network of housing advisors and legal service providers who've worked for over 15 years in this space, in the foreclosure prevention space. So these are very experienced folks that you'll be hearing from tonight. So glad that you can join us. One of the things that we are going to do is talk a little bit about forbearances. Right now, with a lot of mortgages with postponed payments, what we want to talk about is what happens at the end, right, when the foreclosure moratoriums end. What are your options? And the nonprofit housing advisors and legal services providers can really provide you with the information that you need. Everybody's case is different, and a lot of the reason for that is that everybody has a different type of mortgage. Is your mortgage insured by the federal government? Is it a state-controlled bank? And so the different guidelines depend on that loan product that you have. What is your situation? The outcome that's best for you is unique to you, and it depends on whether or not you're working at this point in time, or if you need an extension of that forbearance, and whether or not one is available to you, and that type of thing. So we encourage you to connect with members of our network. All their contact information is at homesave.info. And again, we're glad that you can join with us tonight. So with that, we're going to turn it over to Shruti Joshi from the Legal Aid Society of Northeastern New York.
Thank you. So for the portion that I'm going to cover, I'm going to talk about legal services and what we can do for you when you have fallen behind on your mortgage payments. So the first slide is, what do you do if you have fallen behind on your payments? We tell our clients this almost every time, whether it is getting assistance on, falling behind on a payment, receiving a notice from the servicer for default. The first thing that you need to know is none of the relief that is available to you is automatic. So if you're looking for some kind of mortgage payment relief, some kind of repayment options, you have to contact the servicer. The first thing you would do is reach out to them to explore what are the options that are available to you, what applies to the kind of loan you have, because as Susan said, different kinds of loans would have different kinds of loss mitigation options available. Whether there's a forbearance that is available, what happens after the forbearance period ends, all of that depends on what kind of loan you have, who is the servicer, what are their servicing guidelines, so that you contact the servicer and you explore the potential solutions that you have with that servicer. The other thing you do is you contact a free HUD certified housing counseling agency. Again, as Susan mentioned, under this HomeSave Coalition, we have free HUD certified housing counseling agencies and free legal services. So if you are behind on your mortgage payments and you need assistance in figuring out a way to catch up, then you need to contact one of these housing counseling agencies. If you have fallen further behind on your mortgage as so much that you are not able to catch up and you're in a potential foreclosure case, then you need to reach out to the free legal assistance that is available. There's Legal Aid and Legal Project. Both of these agencies provide free legal services. You should contact us for help. The last thing on the slide, but the most important thing that we tell our clients is, please protect yourself from scams. There are a number of and a variety of scammers that are out there targeting vulnerable and distressed population, like a homeowner in danger of losing their home. They are taking advantage of this situation and the desperateness of trying to figure out a solution and trying to catch up on payments and trying to save a home from foreclosure. That's an easy target. We see scams for submitting answers, promise of loan modification options, and multiple varieties, deep theft scams of offering a rent-to-own arrangement, We're seeing some new ones come up in the pandemic, and that's the concern that we have, that people fall prey to these scammers, and spend money and pay money to them, that is their hard-earned money that we want them to save and put towards the mortgage, and not actually lose that money to someone that's making these false promises. So that's why keep in mind that that's out there, and there is certified free assistance available that you have access to, that you should reach out. Foreclosure moratorium. So there is right now still some foreclosure moratorium protections that are available. The duration of this moratorium would depend on the kind of loan you have. So for example, for loans that are federally backed mortgages, so any loans that are guaranteed by Federal Housing Administration, FHA, the Department of Veteran Affairs, the Department of Agriculture, which is the USDA loan, Fannie Mae or Freddie Mac, all of these loans right now have a moratorium until June 30th, 2021. A moratorium would mean that if you already have a pending foreclosure case against you, nothing is going to happen on that foreclosure case. Everything is stayed until June 30th, 2021. If you do not have a foreclosure case, but you're falling behind and you're in danger of getting a foreclosure case commenced, then that commencement is stayed until June 30th, 2021. For anything other than a federally backed mortgage loan, so conventional loans, private mortgages, those are all covered under the state laws. So in New York, and go to the next slide. In New York, we have the COVID-19 Emergency Eviction and Foreclosure Prevention Act of 2020. This came about on December 28th of last year. And basically this law came in order to provide the same protection, to give homeowners some time to fix their issues if they have certain hardship. So under this new law, if you have lost your income or had increased costs during the COVID-19 pandemic, and you sign a hardship declaration form, submit that to your mortgage company or to the court if you already have a pending case, then the foreclosure is stayed until May 1st, 2021. If you have a pending foreclosure case against you, you might receive this hardship declaration form from the courts. If you don't have a pending foreclosure, you will probably receive this from your mortgage company. But know that submission of this hardship declaration form will allow you to get a stay on potential foreclosure against you until May 1st, 2021. You have to remember that payments will still be owed. The stay does not mean that there is any forgiveness on mortgage payments. It's just a relief that you don't face a foreclosure at this moment, but the payments are still due. And you're still encouraged to work with your lenders on figuring out a way to resolve the default. On the next slide, we have a screenshot of what this hardship declaration looks like. And you will see under the mortgagor's declaration of COVID-19 related hardship, you put in your address of where you live. And then it follows with 6 categories, which you can go through. And if any of these apply to you, and I'll go through each of them quickly. The first one is significant loss of household income during COVID-19, increase in necessary out-of-pocket expenses during this period, any increase in childcare responsibility or taking care of an elderly, disabled, or a sick family member during the pandemic, moving expenses or difficulty securing another housing because you might have to relocate if there's a foreclosure during this pandemic, and any other circumstances related to COVID that have negatively affected your ability to secure another employment. So if you're not employed at this moment and you're having difficulty obtaining meaningful employment during COVID-19, then you would also fall under this. The last one covers any, if you have a tenant in the property and they haven't paid rent, then also, this is a form that you can use to submit and declare that you have a financial hardship. And once you submit this form, like I said, there would be a stay until at least May 1st, 2021. The thing to note is that this is a declaration, which means that you're under penalty of law. So there's a there's a notice at the bottom of the form you'll see on page 2 that you're signing and submitting this under penalty of law, which means that you're not making any false statements. We can go to the next slide. So if you do not qualify under if you don't submit the hardship declaration form, so there's no moratorium in your situation, there's no stay until May 1st, or once this moratorium ends and there's a foreclosure, what does that look like in New York? We're a judicial state, which means we go through a judicial process of foreclosure. And the next slide will show you a chart of this entire process, sort of in like a on one page of what this entails. And it basically starts with a missed mortgage payment. So you fall behind on your payment. If you are more than 120 days behind, the lender can decide that this is a case that they want to proceed with a foreclosure. They will have to then send you a pre-foreclosure notice. It's a notice that it's lender's obligation. It's a prerequisite to starting a foreclosure case. So they would send you this notice to tell you you're X number of days behind on the loan, that you're in danger of losing your home, and you have 90 days, and this is the amount that you need to cure that default. If the default is not cured within that 90 days, then a foreclosure may be commenced against this property. If the foreclosure case is started, you get served with a foreclosure summons and complaint, which is a legal document. It entails, the complaint, which lists what this loan is, why this person has fallen behind, and what the lender is asking from this court, which is, a judgment of foreclosure and sale. After you receive this foreclosure summons and complaint, you have a right to answer. You have a right to respond to the legal document that you've been served with. And this answer also is a legal document, and you have a certain amount of time that you have to respond on this answer. There's a certain timeline that you have to follow. You have either 20 or 30 days, depending on how you are served, which means whether you're served in person, so somebody hands the complaint to you, or someone leaves it at the door, mails it to you, or other forms of substituted service. There is additional time available. Under the New York law, there's a mandatory settlement conference part, which you qualify for after you're served with the summons and complaint. You have to go through that settlement conference procedure, and you get additional 30 days from the first conference. Now, this is the time that we're asking people to call us for help, because as I said before, there are scammers that will offer to do this answer for you, because they'll pick a form from the court's website or make a form of their own, but and charge you money for that. This answer is a legal document. You're raising important legal defenses, if you have any, to the foreclosure case. So it's obviously an important document that you need to go through in detail. You need to have an attorney to advise you on what legal defenses you might have. Some defenses, if not raised, are waived. So that's something that you have to be aware of. You have to have an understanding about that. And just to know that, again, legal services are available. Free legal services are available in New York State for you, to access and get help in answering this summons and complaint. I would just, again, reiterate that, once you get served with a summons and complaint, please reach out. We're here to help. There's Legal Aid Society of Northeastern New York and Legal Project. Both these agencies offer free legal services, and you call either one of us and we will, refer you internally if that's something that we had to do. But that's basically a gist of the legal aspect. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Christina Marable. I work with TRIP RCHR Homeownership Center in Troy, New York. Here on the screen here, you can see the contact information, which is the 518-272-8289 at extension 226. With the next slide. Oh, thank you. So what HUD housing advisors do? What is the benefit for having a HUD approved housing counselor on your side? Advisors are a third party. We're neutral, so we're a neutral third party that act as a trusted source of help to focus on the issue between the homeowner and the lender. We act as a third party between yourself and the lender, basically just to act as an assistance between you all, to help you through the process as a whole. Advisors, we are trained, HUD approved and trained to help you through this process. We are able to assist you figuring out the root of the issue and helping you to identify the options that can be made best available to you. Sometimes lenders are more willing to work with a homeownership counseling agency versus with a homeowner, which is what we're here for, and we're here willing and ready to help. The advisors also give homeowners access to apply for mortgage assistance. We have, the necessary documents. We know exactly what needs to be included, just to really help you along your way. And also just understanding that the service are free, for the counseling aspect of the programs. Thank you. And as far as retention option, these here are your options that could be made available to you. Forbearance, which is the agreement whereby the lender allows homeowners to make reduced payments or postpone mortgage payments for a period of time in lieu of foreclosure. The homeowner agrees to make full payments at a later point. So again, it is an agreement. You may, make a smaller or reduced payment, or they would put those payments at a later point, and then you all would be able to come up with a better option at that point. Repayment plan, regular payment plus extra paid over time that will bring the loan current. So normally with this, they'll take a certain amount and they will stretch it over a certain period of time and add it to what your monthly mortgage payment is. If that is not feasible, some persons may actually have the funds readily available, a reinstatement. So that payment of all prior missed payments plus attorney's fees and costs, you would pay that in full in order to become current, fully current. If repayment plan and reinstatement, unfortunately, is not the best option for you, we would go into applying for a loan modification. And the loan modification is an agreement between the lender and the homeowner where one or more of the original terms of the loan is changed to make monthly payments. So what this means is they would, look at the terms of the loan, see if maybe they can lower the interest, lower the payment in some way, extend the terms of the loan. So that's what the loan modification process entails. In others, deferral, lender defers the arrears payable at the maturity of the date of the loan, refinance of the loan, or sale of the home. And typically the deferred amount accrues no interest. So those are the retention options if those are feasible. And whereas it's not feasible to be able to retain the home itself, if you can just go back one, please. Thank you. If retaining the home is not an option, the non-retention options are a short sale. Homeowner sells the property at a fair market value, and lender agrees to accept less than full balance in the transaction. Or it can be a deed in lieu of foreclosure. The homeowner voluntarily transfers the property to lender, and the lender agrees to waive its right to seek a deficiency judgment. And also in some cases, cash for keys can be offered, which is cash for keys is an agreement by a homeowner to vacate and surrender property at a specific date in exchange for a sum of money. And the sum of money is generally used for moving purposes onto the next location. Also understanding that these non-retention options, they may have tax consequences for the homeowner, and the homeowner should definitely consult with the tax professional for the next steps with that. Any questions?
So there are a lot of options for every individual. Again, each individual is unique. Again, what we're expecting will happen out of the forbearances is that you will be connecting with your servicer to come up with a plan that is best for you. And again, what we can provide as members of the HomeSave Coalition is good advice in terms of what to advocate for on your behalf. We're thinking that a lot of families will likely be getting into a deferral program where the missed payments get deferred to the end of your loan. That might be great in that you just pick up where your payments left off. One of the concerns is that you may have a large deficit in your property tax escrow, and your lender may be asking you to come up with cash to refund that. or to increase your payments until they can bring your payments back up and current with your mortgage, your taxes, property taxes. So that's something to potentially save your stimulus money for, or again, to move on to that next option of a mortgage refinance. The other option too, though, is that there are some funds becoming available. So both the City of Albany and Atonic Colony have some mortgage relief assistance that may be helpful to you in terms of helping you to make a lump sum payment toward the arrears initially as you get into either a deferral or a modification. And then we are expecting some funds to be coming available through the Homeowner Assistance Fund that is being paid out of the federal stimulus package that was just passed. We don't have any details on that. It'll be probably 2 or 3 months before those funds become available to New Yorkers. And so, again, we encourage you to stay in touch with members of the HomeSave Coalition as we work to learn more about that money and help you to be able to access that money. Again, our programs are free of charge because we get funding from the New York State Attorney General's office, their homeowner protection program. So a lot of great support for our services to be able to help inform you of what your options are so that you can move forward and make a really good plan for yourself to be able to keep your home and keep it affordable. So again, we welcome you to contact any of us at any time. Stay in touch with our homesave.info website because we will keep that up to date as the additional programs become available. So thanks for watching our webinar, and we look forward to working with you. Thank you.